Good morning. Good morning. Whoa, good morning. Welcome to the First 15 Accountability Party with me, Melinda B. Powers. It's 9 o'clock. It's Monday. Welcome to a new week. Thank you for joining us. If you're new here, the way this broadcast goes is 15 minutes. The first 5 minutes are the wins from last week. The second 5 minutes is some words of encouragement for me. And the last 5 minutes is goal setting for your me time, your most impactful item. And it's always helpful to be able to voice your goals in front of others for accountability. That's why we're here. So we'll just get right into it. Wins. So, what will be my win for last week? I didn't think deeply about this morning. I got a lot of other things on my mind, and there's some changes coming. So I'm going to talk about that at some point as well. But I would say my win for last week, aside from really digging in with my new client, is I got a big part of a home project done. I'm more than halfway done now. I'm doing a project in my den where I am painting the floor, and it's tedious. I had not worked on it as much as I wanted to last month, but it's going to get done this month. I'm thinking in the next couple of weeks I should be finished with it. But I'm really happy with how it's turning out. It's changing the room completely, and I love paint because that's one of the most minor and inexpensive ways you can drastically change a space. So I'm really liking how things are turning out, and it's all coming together. So that was just a little personal thing. And I actually did entertain this weekend. I haven't entertained on a regular basis in a while, and I want to get back to doing that because I used to do it very often. So I did have brunch. I hosted brunch at my house on Saturday, and that was a nice, quaint time. I enjoyed that a lot. I made a quiche and had some mimosas, so that was nice. So more on the personal side recently. Hey, Errol. Good morning. Um, what was your win for last week? Let us know. Um, so yeah, I've got to show you my progress pictures on my den floor project. It's looking good. All right. So while you get your wins typed in, I'm going to move on to the next part and pep talk. So I read a book over the weekend as well. That was another win because I had gotten a little behind on my book reading. And I read another one about a week ago, and they really have put some things in perspective for me in a different way. One was about humility and leadership. It's called The H Factor. It's very good. And the other one is The Psychology of Money. And that I liked because it was a short read. Every now and then I can appreciate a shorter book. So I finished that in about equivalent of a day, but I read it over 2 days. And it really helped solidify, it confirmed some things that I wasn't quite sure of about how I was thinking about money. It was very interesting, but even life, it wasn't just money. A lot of this was like applicable universally, which I love. I'm a big patterns person. All right. You had an opportunity to start mentoring at Reebok and had your first roundtable talk with the students on Friday. That's awesome. Mentoring is so important. I think that's awesome. I don't mentor with school age kids as much as young adults, but I think anytime that we can reach back and help, those that are coming behind us is always a good thing. So good on you for doing that. What I was saying that, so the one book about humility and the other book about money, but just a lot of different worldviews, ideas, perspectives just kind of started to gel more from reading those books. The money book was really important too because at the end, I love how he basically looks at the history, basically the economic history of the United States since World War II, and how that has shaped where we are right now. Just as it pertains to money, the economy, and all that good stuff. And it's really interesting to look at the history from a bird's eye view and see where those changes happened and how that has shaped us as consumers. Consumerism wasn't much of a thing before the war. And then after the war, it was a lot of pushes to, buy, go to the suburbs, get a house, buy the appliances and all the modern conveniences, get a car. I was also having this conversation with my guest because my house only has one bathroom. And they mentioned, it's kind of weird. Like, I wonder why 3 bedrooms and one bathroom was a thing. And I was saying, well, there was a time when, houses went from one room to, and they started to make multiple rooms for people to have individual space. That evolved over time. So at the time, my house was built in the 40s. So at that time, one bathroom was seen as adequate for a 3 bedroom house. That would never be the case now. You might have two at the least, and maybe more than the amount of bedrooms. And I think that's always funny when they're like 4 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, or something like that. Like, why do you need all those bathrooms? Um, we've evolved to require more. Sometimes, a lot of time, I think more than what's necessary. But because we have the capital and those are looked at as those levels are looked at as essential now when they were considered luxuries in the past. So that's just the way things have just continued to evolve. And I think it's really interesting and fascinating. And it makes me think about my business in a different way because I know that every business wants to grow. No one gets into business to stay super small or just to always do it on their own necessarily. But you have to think about, okay, I do want to scale, but how much? And everybody doesn't want to be a big behemoth company. That's not everyone's desire. And not everyone's capable of that. And not everyone can handle that or manage that kind of growth. So it's really key to ask yourself, like, well, how much do you want this to grow though? And that's something I've been thinking about for my business. In that, yes, growth, absolutely, but there's going to be a cap on that. um, and just think about how that growth is going to occur and how to roll that out and at what pace. Because as you'll see, if you're following me on social media, you'll see some posts this week about some different stats on scaling. And the one for today is that 92% of businesses fail to scale. That's a crazy number. I mean, that's a vast majority. That's very close to 100%. So that tells us that very few figure out how to do it well. And those very few are likely more of the larger companies that have more capital, that have more, assets and more people and more power behind them. But it's also startling because what is it, 99.9% of businesses in the US are considered small. Now, if you go and dig into what small business actually means, it's not just mom and pops. So that definition is very broad. But it's just very interesting to know that most businesses are small, but it's that sliver of monster companies that are really bringing in the lion's share of the revenue. They're the ones making all the money and making a lot of huge decisions and shifts in the culture. So it's very important to remember. So I worked with a lot of startups over the years, and I'm transitioning out of that because I want to make sure those people that started can continue. Because there are startups popping up every day and not always for the best reasons. So for me, I'm more interested in making sure that the ones that have a good product or service and that have a solid plan or idea of what they plan to do can sustain. I don't feel like there's quite as much attention on that as there are on people getting started. So we've already reached the third portion of the call, and that is the me time. Still waking up apparently. Before I get into that, though, I want to announce that this is going to be the last live of this. From now on, this is going to be pre-recorded, and the format is going to change a little bit. So just be looking for that. But that means that you don't have to make sure you're here to participate. I mean, you never did because the recordings were always available later. But we're going to change things up a bit, in part because my schedule has changed some, and I can't always promise that I'll be able to be here every Monday at the same time like I could before. I'm really big on, when I make a commitment, making sure I'm available, and this is changing as other things are changing in my work and personal life. So have to make some concessions. So when I have the time, I can record them, but they will still be broadcast at the same time. All right, Errol says, taking a training course with Onward to Opportunity hosted by Syracuse University this week. All right, congratulations. I had to learn more about that. So I believe that my me time for this week, let's see, I got a few things I could choose from, but I'm going to go with, I really would like to get there's an application that I'm working on for a business certification that I started and I have not completed. And I really would like to get that done definitely this month, but I'm going to see how close I can get to finish by the end of the week. I'm really going to challenge myself. If I can get it done this week, I'm going to, because it is a long process for processing. The processing timeline can be up to 3 months. So if I get it, it'll be like December at the latest before it's actually approved, if I can get it in now. So that would be something really good, even though it won't take shape till, later than now, just to get that done and have that moving in the background while I'm still doing the things that I do. So that's going to be my me time, is getting as close to finished or finished. I think I can get that done. It's a lot of documents that I have to gather, and I have to get some notarized documents and things like that too. But I think I can do that this week because I've already started. So some of it's done. I just have to finish. So I think that's going to be it for me, unless anyone else has joined. Doesn't look like it. Errol, as always, I appreciate you joining. Thank you for your support. I hope you still continue to engage as the format changes. And there are going to be other things coming, just making some shifts and some adjustments. It's Q4. I hope that everyone is now in planning mode for 2024. If you haven't been already, it's that time. I know for me, when October hits, I just automatically start feeling like it's time to start thinking about next year. And I have an exercise that I do every year where I select words that represent how I want to feel for the upcoming year, that I just kind of keep in the forefront of my thinking as I'm navigating through and accomplishing things and discovering things, that I'm always thinking, so am I lining up with how I want to feel? And it's a really nice exercise I've been doing for, I think, about 5 years now. It's been quite a while. And I started looking up words yesterday, and I think I found the 5. I'm going to sit on them maybe for a week or two and see if I don't run across something else I'm more drawn to. But for right now, I think I have what I want. Thank you, Errol. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your presence and your participation. It means a lot too. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for 2024. It's going to be a lot of new stuff, and I hope that you'll all be there along the ride with me. So talk to you soon. Enjoy your week. Have a great Monday, and see you later. Bye.